Welcome back and happy Sunday. I'm Josephine Sage. Let's talk weather. So as we wrap up the weekend and get closer and closer to the beginning of the work week, we are still looking at some elevated wind speeds, breezy skies, blustery skies, if you will. Those high regions are looking at a lot heavier wind speeds, maybe 65, 75, even 80 miles an hour. But again, that's just in those mountain passes. And those are just wind gusts. Overall, it's going to be a little bit calmer than that. Now, locally, we are looking at a lot less wind speeds, especially as we get into these evening hours, down to maybe 20, 25 mile an hour wind gusts at most. Now, we're starting the work week actually on quite a cool note as well. So not only are these wind gusts ahead of this front, but we're also tracking a closed low system, which means widespread storms across the Great Basin. And locally, we're only going to see those storms mostly through that Continental Divide region. But we are looking at precipitation, again, only in that high country, slight chance locally. This is that system we've been tracking. So yes, it's making its way across that Intermountain West, and it's going to bring widespread showers bring widespread showers to a lot of those high regions across the Rockies, especially those northern Rockies. Now, locally, Aspen, Vail Pass, even stretching down to Crested Butte, Gunnison, rainfall. And then in those areas that are on the tree line and above, 8,000 feet, 9,000 feet and above, we might be looking at just a tad bit of some snow tonight and into tomorrow with these very, very cool temperatures dropping possibly down into the 30s this evening for those mountain regions. Again, locally, none of that should hit us. We should be staying dry, but there is about a 10-20% chance for those showers as we start the work week. Now, this is a closer look at that system. Again, widespread storms were what we were watching all afternoon, and then we're starting to see it here locally. So yes, that's even stretching through possibly Glenwood Canyon and maybe into that more so Meeker and Craig area as well. Maybe even just a little bit of some action closer to Steamboat Springs. And then yes, those blue spots are where that snow is hitting the ground. However, those afternoon highs today were pretty nice. 77 through Grand Junction, 72 through Montrose, 76 at Delta, Desert Valleys, Moab, also 78. Now further east, the only areas that were down in those 60s were actually Aspen and Gunnison. However, those upper 60s, they were feeling quite nice today. Now our almanac has us a few degrees above those seasonal averages on that high end of things. The low end of things also same trend. This is last night's temperature in those mid 50s. So that's what we were, well, feeling windows open last night. However, tonight you might want to shut them. We're going to have a drop by just a few degrees. And I still have Raisin hanging out with me all week this week for, well, this is the last day actually of Raisin hanging out with me. We're noticing those temperatures into tomorrow are only going to be in those 60s, like I mentioned. So quite a nice day, lots of sunshine, but definitely a little bit on that cooler side of things. Now our pollen forecast hasn't really shifted too much. High tree pollen, low grasses, low weeds, just a tad bit of some mold. But Discovery Auto Group 7-day forecast again has us dropping off tomorrow and then returning back to those normals towards the end of the work week and into the weekend. Montrose, though, we're a few degrees behind. As we start the work week, we'll be down in those 50s. Tuesday 61, Wednesday 57 again, and then 60s as we wrap up the work week and get into those weekend days. Maybe just bring a light jacket with you as we jump into this month of May.